Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. I got a couple questions about our final project, and I just wanted to send y'all a video to let you know I'm doing well, and hopefully answer those questions and give you maybe a specific example of what a case study might look like, and I can just use myself as an example in that scenario. So. I hope you're excited about this final project. I truly am, and it's been great to read your work. And it's amazing that we've got so many great qualified coaches, and yet seems like a commonality is something that we all have room to grow in working with this specific population of athletes with disabilities and in disability sports. Um, but let me review real quick the goals of this final project, and then, like I said, I'll try to give an example of myself if I were to be completing this project. So, first off, our goals. This is an all-encompassing project. It should really circle back through everything we've hoped to have achieved over our past modules. So whether it's disability awareness to barriers and solutions to being more inclusive, opening up our opening up new opportunities. And that's something for you to keep in mind too through your research. Just because something doesn't exist today, take us on that 5-10 year timeline. Maybe you may be the groundbreaker and the advocate to open up new opportunities for people. And let's see. Secondly, this is a personalized and research-based case study. So I really hope you do dive into your sport and area of passion. For those of us interested in youth, great, go that direction. If you're already coaching at the college level, consider ways in which you can get involved there. But all of us should really be growing and progressing in our path as coaches, which really brings us to goal 3, which is, yes, over the next 5-10 years, what you put in writing is hypothetical. Those should be research-based. They should be attainable. You're essentially creating an actionable plan for yourself to begin to dive into the world of coaching athletes with disabilities. It might be through building inclusive programs, tagging on to existing governing bodies that are already out there. It doesn't necessarily have to climb to the level of Paralympic sport. So just keep that in mind, and be careful that we could all go volunteer for Special Olympics tomorrow. That can't be the end of your 10-year timeline. You need to build this and progress on itself. And hopefully here my example of a case study will help you. Okay, so quick review on me. I've had experience and I'm going to use volleyball in my scenario, and I know that doesn't apply to you all, but again, this is personalized. So experience as a volleyball as an athlete in college and coaching in college as well. Coach, at various youth levels and high school levels, both boys and girls. So it's something that I'm passionate both about as a coach, but then also as a player at the USAV level, and then active in both the beach doubles community and grass tournaments, etc. As a professional in the working field, I've experience with kiddos with disabilities and adapted physical education, and obviously now as an assistant professor and on the academic sense. As an advocate, I've done a lot with our communities in terms of building unified sporting programs with our local communities and hosting events, bringing people with and without disabilities together as an advocate. A lot of those are one-off events. So I'd start out by my case study, using that as my framework from my past. Now let's start the beginning of my project, where I'd like to go in the future. A logical step for me is here at the local level. Whereas I've done unified programs in the past, they haven't been sustainable. So a first step for me would be connecting with our, let me share my screen here. I'm going to connect with my county board of developmental disabilities, and all of your communities are going to have these, and these are people that I work with often, but in a hopes to bring maybe the county board of developmental disabilities and the students in which they serve at their school, and pair them with our local school communities. So you all, through this project, the stronger partnerships you have, the more benefits that you will reap and the more people that you will reach. So I need to get connected with our local school board and our athletic director, and plan to say that even if it's for on a volunteer basis, that I'm willing to coach the unified school volleyball team, and progress it through that way. Let's see. I can tell you that's something that I'm interested in, and I need to grow my knowledge. And you see in the project, growing your knowledge and the skills and development of the sport as a coach. Certainly very comfortable with, like I said, beach doubles and indoor sixes, but something I'm not as comfortable with is at the Paralympic level, sitting volleyball. And as maybe a newer sport on that map, um, how can I get myself educated and involved? So I think I would target our local Veterans Affairs office locally, knowing that athletes that participate in sitting volleyball most often or need to be athletes with um, who have amputations, or who are missing limbs, and knowing that we have got this huge missing piece in the veteran community, and people who would just thrive and want to have more opportunities, I would tap into my local VA and my local recreation facilities to say that we would like to start a sitting volleyball program, and again be willing to serve as the coach in that capacity. This is not my new day job, right, folks? Like, I still got to do my job just like you do. You still got to pay the bills, but in terms of a 1 night a week commitment to start a recreation program, that's certainly something that's attainable. And as a year goes by, maybe now I'm connecting with the next community over, and where we can have more local competition, take it from that recreation level to something more competitive. I mentioned that I'm very active in the volleyball community as a player as well. So I'm gonna begin tapping into, now that I've gone local, I'm gonna go regional. So two of the tournaments I participate in the huge ones in Chicago, very large grass tournament, men's, women's, co-ed, all these different things for youth. What are we missing? We're missing the inclusion of people who maybe have different needs. So I've got no problem going to the board and corporate and saying, I've had these experience coaching at the local levels, and look at the things that I've done. Let's consider being more inclusive and opening up a division for sitting volleyball at the Luau tournament. Same thing, WAPACA, the largest tournament in the world, serving people of different abilities and levels, all the way from recreational to professional. Tournaments like this are bringing in nearly 6,000 people. But again, from kids to professionals, who are we missing? We're missing a demographic, and this is something that I and you as coaching professionals can bring to the table to bring people together. How about in terms of education for myself? What kind of things can I do? So, the governing body for sitting volleyball Paralympic level is governed by World Parasport. So there's different things, for my own development that I can do. I've got access to sign myself up for different levels of certification. There are different training courses that I can participate in. So if this is something that I'd like to attain and achieve, these are things that I need to take myself down this road. This isn't necessarily won't be in your year one. Maybe this is happening in year 5. But nevertheless, connect with your own governing bodies, and they'll help you guide your path of things that you need to do, whether it's first gaining membership, joining the commission. I'd suggest joining as a member first, ever before like applying to be on a board of directors. But um, we need advocates across the board. Um, I put a link here also for Volley Slide, and I think what you'll see is the founder of this. He basically gives his actionable steps of his path, much like our textbook did with people in their case studies, but how they've started from the ground up. And a really cool thing that I liked was the workforce and people that that you need to make these things happen. So just generically starting from the volunteer level, maybe you start to referee, you start to classify athletes. I know we have awesome strength and conditioning coaches in our program right now, so there's so many ways to get involved, and I'm hoping that just using myself as an example, you found that to be helpful. But make it personalized. Paralympics does not have to be the end of the road for you. Strength and conditioning coaches. Does your community offer this for the individuals who are trying to reach? Are you going to be the person to open, courses, classes for people who wish to, build this into their repertoire as well? So from swimming to every sport across the board, you name it, there's so many opportunities. But what's most exciting to me, reading your work, we've got a group of passionate coaches who maybe haven't had the circumstance to go down this road of disability sport yet. And a 10-year case study for yourself, you might find as a graduate of a world-renowned master's program, to put yourself into these circumstances, you could very well be the next iteration of that book, a case study done on you. So the sky is the limit. Drive out your passions, and I'm so excited and thrilled to see your work. So best with you all, and reach out if you have any questions.